Hello, Attactioneers. Welcome to the Attack Action Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Morrow. I'm also here with my other hosts, Colin and Blake. Blake, what's up?
Zane could not make it. I'm doing great today. Solid Monday of work, but Taylor's still here vacationing in the Los Angeles greater area. So you got to eat breakfast at one of the best spots today. Instead of the second best spot and the third best spot this weekend. So it's great.
Top three. Colin, what's up?
You guys look different for some reason.
We're not on your screen.
I don't know where to look, and I feel weird just talking, not looking at a screen of all of our faces in a single plane.
So if context clues didn't cue you in, audio listeners, video podcast in the same place on two couches.
I'm sure they can tell because the audio, I'm sure there's a lot of room sound and
But what a room sound it is. This is Bev Chat.
Welcome to Bev Chat.
Be confused with Dev Chat.
Yep. We're in the Beverly Hills. That's why it's Bev Chat.
True.
Yep. The Silver Lake, Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Out here at, I'll insert Blake's address.
Yeah.
Send your fan mail.
1984.
Moon Lake.
Big Brother Avenue.
Oh, Big Brother. So yeah, we're trying to do something different today. Obviously in person with microphones in our hands and on a couch and filming.
Because we're going to get real today.
Dude.
Well, yeah, on a couch because it's therapy time.
Nice.
Dead. Killed him.
I was trying to get horizontal.
Yeah, you got to get horizontal. He's in the Freudian, lineage of therapy.
Gotcha.
Got to lay down.
Episode 93.
93.
What are we calling this?
More importantly, what are we doing in 7 episodes?
I was going to say, we're so close to 100 episodes. That's crazy. If y'all could get us like 329 more subscribers on YouTube, we could line up our 100th episode with 1,000 subscribers, and that would be pretty tight.
I know what we're not going to do for 100 episode is think about the I could probably get us like commemorative M&Ms where you can print anything you want, and it'll be congrats on 100 episodes.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
but it says that on
every M&M.
Not congrats, but just one letter.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Then you have to spell it out.
Get
35 in the exact right order.
Yeah.
Ooh, you think it's actually 35 letters?
Congrats on.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Just did so.
Yeah. I was about to drop my microphone. That's why I stopped it there.
Blake, what's new in your life?
Well, shout outs to
yourself,
my roommate for getting lights for us. It looks professional enough. We're doing our best. What's new in my life? Very busy. About to start on another job for Squid Games. If you like the first season of Squid Games,
I did.
And you want to be on the second season of Squid Games, it's almost time to get your video in to win $4.56 million. But more importantly,
traumatized for life.
I've been on a run in Flesh and Blood, so I've been having fun. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about other things in Flesh and Blood, but besides I've been busy and I've been hanging out with friends, busy. Oh, friend, there's Pride Month. I have a birthday party this weekend, and there's 4th of July on Thursday. It's just busy. But in the between, it was I'm crushing people at CC, but don't ask what I did on Saturday. But you will ask later what I did.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That's what's been going on.
That's awesome. Colin, what's new in your life?
I'm trying to hire people at work to make my life easier. So that's a thing. If you're a web programmer in Los Angeles and want a job. Email the Attack Action Podcast, and then maybe I'll get back to you.
There's at least one dude in the group chat.
Yeah, what else is going on? Not much. Still not having the most time to go play Flesh and Blood. I think we played yesterday. That was the first time in longer than I want to admit on the podcast. No, that's true. It's fair. 2 months, 2.5 months, almost 3 months. Just haven't been able to make it. I was going to go to that one armory, and then 2 of my coworkers tested positive for COVID, so I turned my car around. What else is going on?
You have new Hokas. You're a Hoka man now.
I am a Hoka man. I've had these for a while, but you can't see them on the normal podcast. So
Yeah, you got to go to the OnlyFans
yeah,
to see Colin's feet.
it's just shoes. It's not feet. It's just shoes. But you can imagine the feet
Yeah,
inside.
totally. He'll sell you his socks he worked in all day.
God.
Whoa.
Wait,
Get those piggies out
please.
Sheesh.
What else is new? I don't really know. I think everything else that's new is too personal to talk about with
Great.
every one of our listeners. Things are okay though. Well, I guess I don't know. Like my wife is doing better. Her back is doing better. She went back to work, so that's a whole thing.
Excellent.
Some more people in my family died. My
Not
friend's
excellent.
dog died last night. That was part of the reason I didn't want to hang out. I was very
shit.
sad. He was a good boy. Rip Pistol, good boy Pistol. We love you. And I got a fucking. Did I talk about this on my leverless controller for Street Fighter?
No.
You did not. There you go.
Tell us.
I bought it's an all button controller for Street Fighter because I'm old and it's hard to do a D-pad or an arcade stick. I bought both the arcade stick and the leverless for my birthday, and then I just spent 30 days figuring out which one I liked and returned the one I didn't. So
Good for you. I feel like sometimes when I make a double purchase, I'm just like, I'll live with this decision and not return the one I'm not
I
going
was
to use.
very close to doing that. But the arcade stick I got was like, it was big, it was pretty, it was very premium. But it was missing like the R3 button. Like it was like you can only have L3 or R3 mapped to it for like PlayStation, like the button on the joystick part. And it's like a pretty useful thing in all fighting games. And I was just like, well, that's a pretty big thing just not to include. And there's so much space on this fucking thing. They could have just added another button. Plus, you can just hitting buttons to do like the moves. Cause it's like you're just tapping them out. It's so much easier. I feel like I'm so much better
Wow.
at doing the move. I'm not good at the game, but I'm better at doing the moves now. That makes me feel like I can no longer blame that for why I suck at it.
I think a friend of the show, Thomas, is a non-joystick fighting game guy.
Shout out to Thomas. He helped me decide to buy both and return the one I didn't
Oh,
want.
tight.
Yeah.
You DM'd him and you're like, hey.
We talked about it, and I was like, dude, I really want to do this. He's like, arcade stick's really fun, and I was like, dude, it looks really fun, and then it was fun, but it's more fun when you do things good. As we'll talk about later. So being able to do like all the moves like really well, I've been enjoying that. So that's been fun. It's a learning curve, but I'm still playing Street Fighter 6 because it's a good game, man.
Tight.
It's fun.
Love that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Oh,
Summer Boy.
Summer Boy ended up.
Summer Boy.
Oh, I forgot. You're on Summer Boy. That makes so much more sense now.
Why I'm here for 5 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids gonna teach themselves for the summer.
It's summer vacation. I decided to take a solo vacation to Los Angeles. So I've been staying with Blake over the weekend, and then I'm going to go stay with Colin. That way, neither of you feels like I favor one over the other one. So that's great.
He likes my dog more than yours, though.
Absolutely. I can't
These
wait.
dogs are barking.
Put on socks. Went to AGE draft on Saturday.
Nice.
Me and Blake went to Armory in Koreatown on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to Odyssey tomorrow after this recording. So I was there and we played a game.
You don't know about it yet.
You don't know about it yet, but good job. You played well, whoever you are. And
Elliot? New Elliot or old Elliot? New Brian or old Brian? There's all kinds of
hopefully I played well.
double named people there.
I'm doing great. I had a great solo day. So not only was Flesh and Blood and hanging out with Blake great over the weekend, but today I went to shout out to the La Brea Tar Pits. Super awesome.
Okay.
Heard stories about how cool it was. And then so I went, and fun fact, if you are a K through 12 teacher, it's free. He was just like, are you a teacher? Or he listed a bunch of stuff and then was like, California teacher? And I was like, yes. And then he was like, in California. Yes, barely. And then showed him a work email and he was like, great, here's your wristband. Enjoy. I was like, awesome. This is great. So
how much was it normally?
I don't know.
Like $600.
Yeah.
No, I bet it was like $18 or something.
I could be like, yeah, you saved. So teacher salary,
Worth something.
you don't put the incidentals in. It kind of all comes out in the wash, if you ask me.
I like how you shouted out the La Brea Tar Pits, which is like a graveyard for prehistoric animals. Like, there's
Fascinating.
a bunch of dead things in there.
Fascinating.
Terrifying.
Terrifying, right?
Just big tar pits. People, the crazy thing is that around there, I used to live around there. Tar still just bubbles up out of the ground.
It's going.
But like in the neighborhood, like
yeah, they had cones like even on the grass, like tar's coming out of here. Don't walk here. I was like, that's nuts. And then it's like, this was what blew my mind. Not only were like, you're like, oh shit, there's mastodons and mammoths. Right. Those are two different things. Crazy. Also dire wolves.
One's a band and one.
Dire wolves way smaller than I thought. Fantasy novels has tricked me into thinking they're gigantic, but they're like maybe smaller than wolves now size. Anyway, there's trees like by some of the tar pits, and they're like oak trees, so they like lose their leaves or whatever, or other types of trees, and it kind of covers the tar pit. So you could just be fucking me and Blake walking along talking about Flesh and Blood, and then we fell in a fucking tar pit because we just thought it was leaves on the ground.
Right.
And then you're dead. And then wolves come to try to eat you, and then they also die.
But you die before drowning in the tar because they still eat you, but then they die eating
Totally.
you.
And then when you are preserved in the tar pit and they dig you out, your bones are all freaking mixed together, and they have to like sort out, is this a human bone or a dire wolf bone? It was crazy.
Look at the pelvis. The pelvis is always what tells you.
If you're a wolf or a man.
Or
what if you're a werewolf? Is that if they're different?
Your pelvis changes at night.
They're different pelvis.
You only know if it's a woman or a man, or a woman werewolf or a man werewolf.
Shout out to werewolves.
Can you imagine being Elvis and your name is 5-6 of the words pelvis?
I mean,
and anytime you're in anatomy and physiology,
everyone's just
you
like,
have to wonder if they're calling you, or if you're learning about the waist of people.
That's why
you're now. I'm all shook up. I can't tell.
Okay.
That's what motivated him.
Just set up his own joke. Also, Blake, the pelvis is not the waist.
Oh, okay. Me
it's
too.
The pelvic region.
Me too. I get it. I have one.
A pelvis? Yeah. I know.
Show me.
No, don't. Good thing.
Show me.
Did you go to the place next to the tar pit that had all the? Look how many lights there are in a row.
Yeah, I saw that.
That has been a staple for all 13 years I've lived here. Of gotta take your
Lamp
picture
posts.
at nighttime. It's even cooler because it's lit.
Did you see the big rock?
I did. The big rock was fucking sweet.
Yeah, the big rock is tight.
Nobody was over there, so I was like, I kind of wanted to walk underneath it.
Yeah, you should.
I know, but I got nervous because it was like,
it could fall
it's like
at any
a
time.
blank. It's a blank expanse.
Yeah,
and nobody's there.
Yeah,
and I was like,
you were scared of the unknown.
Yeah,
it's always scary walking underneath that thing.
Dire wolves have walked under here and died after.
There's like two. There's not. I mean, for people who don't know, it's one of the biggest monolithic rocks, around. That is sitting. It looks from afar, it just looks like it's sitting on like two pieces of concrete. But when you look at it from the entrance, it's actually like a tunnel that goes underneath it, but it's open. And the rock is sitting on like these tiny little lips. Yeah. And that's it. There's no bar holding it up. It's just the rock itself, and then like two little lips. And then you walk underneath it, and it's fucking crazy.
I was not afraid it was going to like crush me. I just was like, that looks really cool. Why is nobody over there? maybe I'm not supposed to go over there.
They
Is
are
it too
looking
hot?
up misspelled draft because they have nationals this weekend when they go back home to Canada, and they want to be sure that they go 3-0 because there's just no way they'll make it the top 8 if they 2-1.
Way to keep us grounded.
Another tangent.
Perfect.
They had to drive that rock from like the California desert to LACMA, and they had to close down like roads and freeways to do it. It took like a month to do it. And when it arrived, because I lived in the area, Jess and I went out there, and like it was like a party. There was a guy on a bike with just fucking "We Will Rock You" on repeat, like following it, and it just like drove up, and it's just this giant. It was like
It's like it's a huge house size rock.
Yeah,
like a
How
2-story.
recent was this?
they
house.
put it there like okay, it's been a while now, like 10 years maybe.
Oh, okay, making sure.
Yeah, it's
I
been
think
there
I
for a
blew
bit,
it then because
but
I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, unless I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Look it up on your phone.
levitating mass. It's a big rock behind LACMA.
Because isn't there one too at the Holocaust Museum? You've been to that one too, or no? Not to go Holocaust
Welcome to the museum podcast of Los Angeles.
I don't know, but this one is like it's a massive single monolithic rock. It's very cool. It's like an art piece that is just a rock that this guy was able to like
Love it.
carve out of a thing and move. It's a weird
Tickets
thing.
are $18 to the museum.
I was correct. The other thing I did was I went shopping but didn't buy anything. Looking for trousers.
Oh, okay.
New trousers.
Nice. It's too hot for trousers.
I know. It was pretty tough. Shout out to Mr. Freedom. Great store.
Oh.
Yeah, really, really cool. I recommend going there.
I have been here. That's there?
Yeah.
Because there's another one by the Holocaust Museum. Unless I'm like Holocaust Museum.
No AC in that store, so trying denim on and off, I was like, just kind of stood in
How does
there
that
one
work?
stall to
Mr.
change.
Freedom himself,
Yeah.
spitting into your pants so
Yeah.
you could get them on and go,
I just kind of took a second to be like, all right, let's get a little breeze on these thighs. So anyway,
scratching on
but it's the only time I get to try on
cool denim.
selvage denim. Yeah. So of
No, I made that up about Holocaust Museum, but it does have like
course you did.
you could walk under the rock, but there's just no rock. But the architecture there, if you're not busy tomorrow, it's pretty sick because it's just carved into the side of the hill like this.
Cool. Thanks. Maybe I'll go again. It's free. So I'll walk under the rock. Take a video. Anyway, that's what's going on with my life.
LA trip. He's an LA boy now.
I'm an LA boy now. I love Los Angeles.
It's a cool place.
It's great. People are extremely friendly and everybody is really good at their job.
Because if you're not, you get
Totally.
sent back to
Just-
St. Louis.
You need to come to like where I live, where you're like, I would like a sandwich, please. And then like, uh-huh.
Let me read my library book.
And then you're like, it's been 40 minutes. I'm the only person who ordered a sandwich. Could I have my sandwich? And they're like, uh-huh. Here it's like, I would like a sandwich. And by the time you've ended the word sandwich, they've given you a delicious sandwich and then like made you feel like a normal human being and that your time was valuable.
I love LA, man.
You know?
And sometimes that happens, and sometimes it is like I waited an hour to go to this place, but then it's like the best food. Like I think that's the thing for me is as long as when I do wait for something that's 35 minutes long, it's always phenomenal. I've never waited in line for 30 minutes and then it's like, oh, that was really shitty.
Yeah, but how many times
Why
has
did I
your
do
like waiter or waitress just been like bad at their job?
Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's it.
You encounter it.
Okay.
You
Buffalo,
still get
like,
it.
It's only Buffalo Wild.
But you know, people we got good people out here.
Yeah, the people are great. Everybody I met today really talked to me. The guy at the denim store, one of them, he had a beautiful mustache, and we
Get him
flirted.
on the podcast. Does he like flushing blood?
Yeah, totally. I was just asked. They were also playing the most hardcore metal in there at like 11 a.m. on a Monday, and I was like, I guess this kind of tracks.
The mastodon or mammoth?
It was Mastodon Rock.
I will say, when we were walking to breakfast Sunday morning, you were saying hello to everyone
I said hi to everybody
as they walk by.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing that if you want to bring out the friendship of LA, you got to be the change in the world.
I also told every dog, good dog,
True.
because they're good dogs. Shout out to Erica, the dog I pet today. It was great.
You met a dog named Erica.
I think so.
Wow.
How do they
Actually,
spell it?
I would check my phone as I texted my wife because it was a great experience. Could have been Ricky. I don't know.
That's so funny. I just don't think dogs should have people names, really, unless they're like unique names.
This is my dog, Brian Gottlieb.
Brian Dogley.
Let me take him for a
Brian
walk.
Doggleeb. Nice. Yeah, Erica.
What happened to your dog?
You can't shout Erica like in a
I had to give him up.
Erica! Like
He was on Twitter too much.
but I had to crate train his ass.
God, it wasn't Erica. It was something else.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just say it's Erica. That's a
That's a great dog name.
It's a great dog name.
Okay.
Despite what I just said.
Let's move on with our podcast. If you've been enjoying any part of our podcast, like and subscribe. Join our Patreon.
What's the best way to support us?
Joining the Patreon. $4 a month, which is LA latte, way less. Way less than an LA latte.
You can pick
Yeah.
one of these boxes of bulk. We'll send it to you.
Yeah, when you need
We'll
bulk,
get a
Blake and I
yellow
will send it to you.
Totally. Our Discord is amazing. Shout out to Chris. I met Chris.
True.
Chris fire emoji. Fire Chris.
Fire
Stitcher.
Chris, yeah.
You'll meet him again tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. Super great dude. One of our patrons and
Now only has 3 days left of school.
one of the nicest people. Yeah.
Also a teacher.
Also a teacher. So get in there. Join
Or
it.
if you've got one of those like cell phone farms and you have 329 YouTube accounts, you could push us to 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and that would also be a really great way to support us right now, because that number it taunts me. I just want to hit it, and then I don't care what happens after that.
No, then you'll be like, all right, let's get to 2.
No, I don't think so. I'm just gonna turn those ads on and see how much money we make.
We made $6.
I don't know if you guys ever go to
And lost 300 subscribers.
I don't know if you guys ever go to the Flesh and Blood Reddit at all.
No,
But there was
Yichin
a-
is on there a lot.
There was a Reddit thread recently where it was like, what is up with this game? It doesn't have a footprint online. It doesn't have a lot of like some people that we saw do YouTubes have the same amount of views 2 years later. And then there was another one today where it's like, everyone's making videos about their collection. Is there a larger conspiracy of everyone's trying to be like, you gotta start Flesh and Blood right now?
They're
and
making
trying to-
videos about their collection.
Yeah.
Like, I have every card.
Like, let's look at all my cold foils from the alpha set. Like, people are doing collection posts for the first time in years.
Huh.
Allegedly. YouTube.
I haven't seen a single one. It's not in my algorithm.
They gotta work on that.
I don't
Your
think people
target
make
audience.
content about Flesh and Blood. There's really not enough.
There's not.
That's literally the footprint.
There's so many.
Mm.
And every person that starts a new podcast is like, I just can't find any podcasts. And I'm like, dude, I can tell you 25 off the top of my head.
Okay, go.
Well, I'm not doing it
Do
now.
10.
1, 2.
It's literally just name like all the different parts of the game.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
Oh, yeah,
one,
totally.
like,
draw 4, pass.
Yeah. The pitch stack, the combat chain,
Yeah.
the
Instant
attack
speed
action.
podcast.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The what podcast?
Anyways,
Crankshaft.
there's
Oh,
a
I
lot.
like that one.
I feel like for how big our community is, there is a lot of Flesh and Blood content creators.
Dude, how small are... I did not know how many people I was going to know at AGE because I'm like, this is not really my zone. If this was at NorCal, Bay Area, I would know a ton of people. But then I freaking knew a bunch of people there. And I
Yeah.
was like, This is just so small.
This community.
Well,
Yeah.
you're also, you're
Famous.
like related to this community.
That's right.
And you're
Tertiary.
famous. Yeah, sorry. What I meant to say is you're famous, so
no.
everyone
I was-
knows you.
Who was I talking to? Brian?
Was it Zane? And Zane was like, "Hi, I'm Zane." And you're like, "Zane, it's me."
Zane, it's me.
Your
I just-
co-host.
wait here. Let me turn my phone around so you can then see me through a screen and know what I look like. I have this new tattoo, and somebody was like, "Oh, I've seen that tattoo."
You put it right up into that camera.
Whoa.
Ooh,
that's
now
so-
maybe it's focused on my hand instead of you. But
God.
follow me on Twitter if you want to see pictures of it.
It's pretty tight.
Anyway, and then I was talking with Blake, and I was like, I feel like I have a very distinct look, but apparently out of the four of us, I'm the least recognizable, which is fine. I just think it's interesting because my ego is not attached to this.
How are you doing that math? How are you number 4?
Because I'll walk around and people will be like, "Hey, Colin, great podcast," and like hug him and give him $5, and then
Yeah.
they'll be like, say nothing to me and walk on,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll be like, "Blake, I love your podcast," and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm so good."
He's like, "You mean my Survivor podcast? Is that one is much more popular?"
And then people are like, "Oh yeah, I
SurvivorSpecialist.com.
started listening because Zane's on there," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, sweet, thanks."
Well,
It's me.
I'm
Good
here
job, Zane.
because of you.
I know. This is not a Taylor is sad
I mean,
because he's
get
not
up.
famous enough.
We'll do the sad stuff later. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
plenty of time.
We-
I think.
Actually, if it's making you so sad, I can go.
It's not making me
I
sad
can
at
go
all.
make a Flesh and Blood.
I'm not sad.
Money podcast called Channel the Blake Expense and go out on my own.
Blake, we forgot to take your Blake selfie next to the word lake.
Oh,
Fuck.
it's a quick
The
trip.
bee lake.
It's a quick trick. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Support us. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all of that to say is you can support us by subscribing now.
And talk to Taylor first the next time you see all 4 of us.
Please recognize him so he'll stop bringing this up. I recognize him every day and he doesn't count that.
Mm.
And I
No.
have face blindness. so-
We're close. If I were to get married again, you would be in my wedding party,
Yeah,
Colin.
that's tight.
Aw.
So, like, yeah.
I didn't have one. A wedding.
Wedding party? Because you couldn't choose.
I just went with a best man
Did you choose your brother?
and my best friend. I did both because I didn't want to choose.
I chose no best people.
You had a few good men next to your
I,
son.
I had
Oh
two
my
best
God.
men.
When did you turn into a dad?
I-
You've always been a daddy.
Oh
Hey.
my God.
Oh no, he said
I
it.
had
Sorry.
such wonderful role models growing
Sorry.
up that I was like, let me just channel that energy.
I know. You were like, let's go play catch. And I was like, what? Yeah. And you just like, baseball gloves appeared out of nowhere. And I was like,
I love LA.
Today we are talking about sad times. I don't know. We don't have. Did we come up with a?
no.
We're-
Down period.
Low points in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, the valleys that go with the peaks. You know, the peaks is opening up your first cold foil, and then the valley is what am I even doing?
Because we
In
were
this
like,
game.
when we get 75% of us in one room, what's the saddest thing we can do? Let's go ahead and make sure the one time we really go all out, it's evergreen content about because there's we're in like year 3. You guys are a little longer, so 3.5, 3 and 4. We're gonna claim the 4.
About to be 5.
No shot.
No, it's before
It's
because
October.
2020.
Yeah.
We used
Oh,
the
so-
podcast started in like summer of 2020, basically.
Yeah. Next month. End
Yeah.
of next month.
So that's 4.
So almost on a 4-year
Yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Oh
you.
my
So
God.
4 years.
Happy birthday.
So, in those 3.2 years, the 4 years, I think there is the like, oh, I've had some really fun moments. I have some heroes that I really like. Then there's like, this period sucked. Like playing against Lexi for 5 months. I'm gonna reference that for the rest of my life. The Starvo stuff kind of sucked, but like, how do we avoid that? How do we get past that? Or how do we go, well, I can't have this happen to me a third, a fourth, a fifth, or sixth time because if I'm enjoying my hobby, great. If I'm not enjoying my hobby, why is it my hobby? It's the idea of there's new people, there's old people, there's balancing the new people, the old people. Some people are going to quit. You're going to be like, whatever happened to Charles? There is a Charles. I picked a random name, but it was Charles Dunn's name. Shit. Charles quit because he didn't win nationals this year and he's never coming back. And it's like, how do we move past when Charles is actually done with the game? And like, this is happening live, you guys. These are not planned jokes, but they're just coming out because I'm in my natural element of in person.
And on your couch.
And on my couch. So I think there's like a couple moments where like, oh, I really like Greiner, but heavens to Betsy, I am not playing Greiner at all in the last 6 months. Like there was a time where I was like, I'm going to play it with the card where if discard this at instant speed to stop the tokens, ripple away or something. Like, good Lord. And I literally wrote that. I was like, somebody give ripple away so I can try this deck. But like moving past, oh, I don't want to feel bad playing Greiner for 6 months, even though I'm a Greiner person. I'm going to try something new. In UU. Dude, what is going on? These are literally just...
A listener is going to shoot you through the camera.
I think we got more unsubscribes.
Yeah. No. Okay, I'll stop talking. Y'all go now.
All right. Well, okay, let's zoom out for a second. I think, what we want to talk about is those periods where you're struggling with your place in the game and how you deal with, how we all have dealt with that and how that has all shown up in like our own lives with the game. I think as a kind of lifestyle game, it's a big part of your life. You spend a lot of time thinking about it, spend a lot of time talking about it. We make content, we go to armories, we go to big events, we plan our own events. Like all of this takes a significant amount of our time, to put it in perspective, it's like I see my wife, my coworkers, and you guys the most in like that order. And so, that's how much time like this hobby and game like takes up. And so what happens when that, things start to change and you start to feel differently about it, whether it's because the hero you love isn't viable, whether it's because the meta itself is kind of challenging, whether it's because you don't have the time to do as much as you wanted to or used to. And I think that's kind of, I brought this up because that's where I'm at, is just like my time has changed a lot this year. And it's been a struggle to figure out how I feel about that. Or I guess like it's been a struggle, like just dealing with the emotions that have come with that. And yeah, so I just thought we would talk about it because I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. For some people, it means they dip out. And some people are okay with doing that. They're just like, I'm not liking it right now. I'd rather focus on other things. I'm just going to like go do something else now. And for, me, I find that really like a harrowing prospect. I'm like, I don't want that to be my choice. And would rather figure out like how to engage differently to enjoy it. But that's it's a challenging thing to do. So yeah, I think, hopefully it's relatable. I think so, because we've all dealt with this differently. And yeah, I guess, what would be interesting is to kind of know like how that has shown up for you, and then how you've kind of made the changes mentally, and also what you put into practice to like kind of deal with that, and just kind of like make something, take charge of it rather than kind of be at the whim of like, oh, like I don't really like this or that, and I just like, I guess I can't do anything about it kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a big subject, and I think it's maybe something people who have, well, okay, so it's definitely a thing people go through in a bunch of different hobbies, like for myself, basketball comes to mind. I had an extremely low point in my early 20s and had to like reevaluate my relationship with that game, and did not play. I played nearly every single day for since I was 7 till I was 24 or whatever, and then did not play for like a solid year, or watch basketball or think about it or whatever, and had to like work through some feelings about that and that sort of thing. So I think it's a natural thing that happens with people, regardless of what it is. But it certainly feels weirder, at least for me, when it's this elective hobby that I like to participate in. And maybe I would feel different if we didn't have a podcast. Maybe when I was in my low point, I'd be like, okay, I'm done with that thing, But it like you said, it's like a lifestyle hobby. So there's like a bunch of other stuff involved in it, especially for us because we like make content and are everybody but me is a prominent figure in the community.
You're the second best Arachne player at Pro Tour LA.
That's right. And then dominated Brian Della Torre in battle-hardened San Francisco.
Let's go.
So now I'm number 1.
That's why he showed up late on Saturday.
Yeah, because he didn't want the smoke.
Yeah.
I
think he said that to me in a text. Taylor's coming. Maybe I'll just show up afterwards.
There's a lot more than just playing the game wrapped up in it. You have relationships with people. You're making content. It's a very social scene, especially for you guys. Blake's like, hey, come down. You can play an armory every single night of the week. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Because currently there's one in Collector Legion where we were.
Yeah.
They have one on Mondays, technically. Maybe there's 6 people. Maybe Tao Tao goes over there and crushes everybody. Maybe Bill beats everybody. Fab Mayo.
Also, shout out to Tao Tao.
Shout out to Tao Tao.
He is unleashed now upon the world again.
Yeah, he is going to win top 8 at
Pro Tour Amsterdam. Let's go. So when you're like, dang, my relationship with this game is changing, you might be feeling like, is my relationship with these people changing? Like now maybe I don't know what's going on in the game as much. So like I can't relate to what you're talking about, or like, how am I supposed to make content, etc. So it can be a heavy subject and is maybe something people are used to who like played Magic for 15 years and they're like, oh yeah, I played for 5 years really heavily and then played super casually / not at all for 2 and then played blah, 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 So it just might be a regular cycle, but it is maybe something the 3 of us have experienced recently for the first time in a hobby space like this. Is a long-winded point.
Because for me, there's the idea of like, oh, I'm frustrated. And am I frustrated because I play this game extremely emotionally? I think that is the idea that exists for me of I'm going to be jumping up and down when I roll my stuff correctly. The Blood Rush Bellows fell correctly. But then I'm going to tell you, oh my God, I drew an Art of War, a Blood Rush. I Pro Tour LA. I played a Wizard in round 1 and 3. I practiced so much, allegedly. But now I can't. I'm only playing Wizards, and this is the worst Gem ID luck ever. How could this happen to me? Main character energy, whether it's negative or positive, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's a thing where some people play into it, and like there's been a couple times where like maybe people are relishing in like, oh, I did beat Blake, and that's a fun thing because now Blake is going to react a certain way. And it was like, okay, I can understand that. Like maybe I can't be too bad about that if I'm going to have my 86% of the problem, the 14% that blows back on me. I can't be like, man, that's weird. Like, why are you guys doing that? But the Flesh and Blood community, I think one thing that's always been positive for me is it's a social thing that I do that eventually, whenever I saved all my putt-putt goal markers or scorecards. I don't know what the hell a goal marker is, But I saved all my putt-putt scorecards. You can't trade those in for money again. But you can trade your Art of Wars 5 years later, and maybe someone will be like, oh, these are original Art of Wars? Cool. But you can't trade the memories. But like the stuff that's cool about Flesh and Blood is helped me through pandemic.
Yeah.
And when you are not athletic and you're in your 30s, you're like, I could go play dodgeball and strain my leg kickball, strain my leg every third week for the rest of my life, or go to a card shop. And Tuesday nights at Odyssey have been very important. That's my things I can't miss. Of the 52 weeks a year, how many Tuesdays am I going to make out of 52? It's honestly probably 40 something. Like, it is a thing that I am always there. There's some lows and some highs of like, oh, it's kind of annoying right now because there's somebody there that maybe doesn't really like me that much. And you're like, well, I just won't sit by them. And maybe it'll be awkward. But then there's an influx of these are my friends. And like now Tuesday nights, hey, we like this so much. Why don't we come back on Fridays? And somebody in our community, Garrett, shout out to him, was like, I'll order Domino's pizza because it's $17 for 2 pizzas. Everyone eats the pizza, gets crumbs on their fingers. Oh my gosh. Like, we played UPF once. That was a mistake, but it was fun. And then like we'll practice for CC because some of these people are gonna go play somewhere else. We're gonna but it's more of a social thing. Tuesdays are kind of the work day of Fab, even though it's not work, it's a hobby. But Friday is legitimately fun. And now it has gone from, oh, it's a pizza night. I really wanted to see the movie Challengers with Zendaya. And we all went to a Korean barbecue so it's like the Challengers crew. We went to a Dodgers game. And now these people are kind of 3Ding themselves instead of like, these are just card people that I play with. And sometimes we go on tournaments. It's like, oh, I've seen this person 2 beers in at a Dodger game. I've seen this person not naked at like the Challengers movie where I'm like, movies are some of my favorite stuff. I can share this with them. Why was this movie so good? We all walked out of Challengers. I think everyone liked it. I think 57% of those people would not have gone to that movie unless let's all do it. So that is something that I have enjoyed and really been like, can I do a Tuesday and a Friday with these people? We've gone to some of their houses, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, like this is an actual community building itself.
Real friendships.
And there's at least 3 people where it's like, I'll probably talk to Jake and Haley for 10 years, whether Fab 3 releases of Bright Lights in a row, Fab dies, but I'll still talk to Jake and Haley in 5 years, 10 years, 15, as long as I don't die in a car accident or whatever. But it's like, I'll talk to you guys for 5 or 10 years, unless I die in a car accident, 15 years, 20 years. So I think that's something that I have realized of the cards are one thing, but trying to be part of a community where, okay, yes, I could be some main character syndrome, or I was really annoying when the blood rushes all lined up and I did 27 damage to you, but I'm also part of the community where I'm letting brand new players borrow shit out of my bag. And like, that has been my persona for 3 years of, you're a brand new player, I'll talk to you about everything. We went to Koreatown yesterday. Really? Not that I'm trying to say anything about Koreatown, because I've only gone twice in the last
I was
forever.
surprised. Not surprised, but I was like, I'd never seen that side of you. You were like, oh, you're talking to one of the new players about Bolton, and you were like, hey, have you thought about this way to play it? You know? And he was like, oh, okay. And you were like, yeah, that's like the next level up, and this is the next level up. Like, you know, as a teacher, you're giving someone goals and points and things to teach them with. And I was like, oh, this is cute. This is daddy energy. Sheesh. This is your dad energy.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
I got a
mentoring.
Father, man. Somebody freaking make me a dad already. Yeah. That's something where I'm not going to pretend like those people need my help at that armory. But when somebody says like, what's tips you have because I want to get better, I'm only 2 months in. That's something where people get frustrated when they do look at the youtube.com and there's like, I can't find exactly the level I need, or I can't really look at the cards and see what they mean. But I can go, your next step for the next 2 weeks should focus on is your beacon of victories need to come in and do this much damage, but also get you the power card, and knowing when to dump all of your soul into damage will win you 2 games, an armory moving forward. That's what I said to that guy. He's like, great. And then he's already like, he chatted me today and he's like, how do I beat Arachne? And I was like, you know what? It's number 25 in the list of Living Legend. You're maybe only going to see one every couple weeks, but when you do, they're going to be a specialist that loves the hero, so they're going to have all the matchup knowledge, so good luck. But like, they're going to make you draw the worst part of your deck the whole time, and you're just going to have to like search for your good cards using Beacon. Anyway, that's all blah 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 blah.
I think, you both made really good points as to why even bother making it through the low point, because that's
a great question.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's kind of what you were speaking to, is because normally it's like, well, I don't enjoy this, so why would I keep doing it? And like, big part of it is the community and the friends that we've made and the people that we enjoy spending time with, and having a shared thing in common that whether or not we go to the movies or go to a Dodger game or know that much about each other, you see that person and you're excited and you're like, we have a ton to talk about, and we can talk about all these different things, and it may be a very focused topic on a larger scale, but it is like we'll talk for hours about the same shit over and over again, but it's like delving into the different heroes and like the different memories and like the different plays and like the different cards and all these things. And I think that's like the why of like why even bother doing it. And I think but from there it's like I think that's what's been hard for me, is that's what I've not been able to do because I don't have the time, and sometimes I just don't have the energy to make it to the Tuesday night armory. It's I'm like exhausted. I get home and I have like 5 minutes to decide if I have enough energy to pack up and like rush to Pasadena to play at Odyssey. And if like even a little bit of me doesn't want to, it's like, well, I'm just not going to do it, because it's hard. Like I'm going to sit there for like 4 hours and play like really hard games of CC against a bunch of people who play a lot. And I do enjoy, most of the people I play with, but you don't always get to play against your favorite people. And sometimes you're playing like your worst matchups over and over again. And you're just like, I could have just stayed home and it would have felt better. And now I'm dealing with like the emotions of like not playing well, playing matchups I don't like or enjoy, and then just like feeling like maybe you wasted time doing that.
Totally.
So it's like, I think there's like a lot of complicated issues in there, but I think since we did the Hype House, that was such just like a joyful time of people who all know each other and like each other, just hanging out and playing Flesh and Blood and playing other games. And just, that was it. There was no other point. There was no other place to be. There was no big event that we all had to like, break out and like play against random people and then come back for 5 seconds and tell each other how we did, and then have like a really fun time later in the evening. Like, it was just that really good time. And I think after that, it was like, well, that Tuesday night isn't that. Friday night now sounds like that. And I'm in negotiations to spend Friday nights at Odyssey, maybe.
We're back.
And I was talking to Jess about this last night. And I was just like, like I feel, because I was like, oh, okay, like you guys were going to go to Koreatown. We hung out for a couple hours to play some games here. And I'm having to do the calculation of like, okay, well, if I go to Koreatown tonight and we do a recording tomorrow night, which is now tonight, and then I go to Odyssey on Tuesday, it's like 3 nights out of the week that I'm like not spending any time with my wife, and I need to not, it can't be the majority of my time goes elsewhere. And so it's just like I'm having to like make these choices of like making sure that my priorities are aligned with my actions and I'm making the decisions to do it. Because it's very easy to be like, yeah, I'm just going to do this thing that's fun. And then be like, oh shit, I forgot I didn't forget my wife at home, but it's like I forgot that
Right.
she isn't out doing something fun, and which isn't totally my fault. But you know what I'm getting. It's like
You can't send her on a shopping spree or like the most stereotypical things, or like,
well,
go get a milkshake for 4 hours or something. Like,
yeah, hold my bag while I play Flesh and Blood. But I think because your actions speak louder, and I've tried hard to make sure that like my focus is more evenly distributed, because like especially after Pro Tour and the Hype House, it's like I'd spent so much time planning this shit for like us and our buds, and then came back and was like, I haven't put that much energy into like planning something for my wife and I like in a little bit. Like that's probably a problem. Which like
so for the 100th episode, Jess, you're going to Puerto Vallarta.
we'll do an episode there. And she can hold the camera. So and I think that's just been where I've struggled. Is like because like then it's like, okay, well then making the podcast is like what I do, and like
that's your relationship.
That's my relationship, and
but it's work.
It is. This part isn't. The part after this is, but but it's fun and I enjoy it and I like being with you guys. So it's like not doing it is not a question. It's just how do I keep doing it and how do I keep enjoying it and how do I get through the hard time to get to like the time where I'm back playing heroes I like and having really fun and feeling like I know what's going on in the game. So I it's I don't know what that is for me yet. Really, to be honest, I think just persevering and like waiting for my moment and being more honest about how I'm feeling about it, because like I think that's been hard too. It's just like I don't want to.
Sorry, not to cut you off mid thought. I'm a big planner and and try to be on. Like what am I trying to say? Like, okay, I think I could spend X amount of time a week doing this thing I like. Hi, person who I cohabitate with. How do you feel about that? Is that too much? Would you, can we negotiate more? Should we do less? Etc. That's what I would do. And then just have that like baked into my schedule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean but for me, that's just one part of it. The other part is just like work. Like I've been out of town for work.
Totally. And that stuff you can't control. But then once you get back and then you're like, okay, these are my days, these are my habits or whatever. And this is what like we agreed to that is reasonable for us both or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe then like when you do go do a thing, you don't have that like thing in the back of your brain where you're like, well, I feel a little guilty for maybe not spending the amount of time that I maybe should be spending, but maybe that's an okay amount of time I can be spending. Because I've definitely been in that boat where I'm like, am I doing too much or whatever? And it's like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I don't have anything going on. So like you can go do that thing. And so, but when I like am stressed out and have a lot going on, like I would like you to be more available, So, that those are just maybe conversations to have that maybe free up some of that mental load of the game. You know what I mean? And then once you maybe get back to playing a bit more, then you have those things to say and that sort of thing. And I also there's like this will be my last point, and then I'll let you have a retort. Is there's also kind of a bit of when you've had a main hero that you've played and loved, and then that kind of goes away, there's a stress of like, fuck, who am I going to play now? What do I actually like? You know, this isn't exactly it. This isn't exactly it. Can I see myself liking this? Like, what the fuck do I do? You know, it feels like a lot. Like, I think some people maybe are like, oh, I love playing all these different things, you know? Well, I'm like, not really, I've decided I really don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, learning new heroes every limited set is fine. That's like great. But I kind of want to stick to the stuff I know. And so that's like another added stress load where you're just like, fuck this isn't fun.
Yeah, I see that. It definitely, you know, have needed to be more honest, but I think it's been, I mean, I shy away from confrontation as a person. So that is something that can be hard for me. So going and asking and being like, is this okay? But that also puts it on her where she's like, well, I don't want to tell you like if this is okay, or, you know, it's like,
you should be able to be honest.
Yeah. And I think it's a place to start, and then it's a discussion, you know. But I think this for some reason became a lot about like my relationship with my wife, but that's really not like the crux of this, you know. That's just one facet, you know, because it's even like I fucking feel bad that like if I go to Armory, I can't like take my dog for a walk. I'm just like, I just don't have time. It's like, you know, she's just been sitting at home and is fucking bored and would love to go for a walk. And you know, it's
walk to Odyssey.
Yeah. Somebody brought their dog last week,
which I don't think you're allowed to do, but some people do, I guess. I wouldn't do that to my dog.
Hashtag dogs in stores.
Yeah, hashtag dogs in stores. I think
true.
There's a bit of the I don't know what I even want a player like.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit of I don't have enough time. And then so when there is time, I'm very overwhelmed by like what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
And all of the knowledge that I've kind of like slipped by me in the past couple sets. You know, I don't know what I like to play. And then when I'm presented with the choice of what I can play, there's so much now, and it's like it all looks really cool. And you know, Talishar is a great tool, but it's not my favorite way to play. So like that becomes a thing, you know. And then so it's like it's just all these like things have felt like barriers in the way, and it's just kind of it's made it harder to get to like the joy of playing, you know. And I think that's when there's too many steps there. I think from a normal person, that would just be like, well, I'm done, you know, and I don't need to do this. But I'm just like, well, we got a podcast, we got things to talk about, and I could talk about this shit without apparently very little knowledge of some of it because I know how to play the game, and I like the many facets of it. I like collecting, I like just opening cards, I like the limited stuff, even when I don't get to do it, you know. So I think it's an interesting place to be because I know, and I think there's a lot of people, you know, even like in like our Discord, where you say like, oh yeah, I'm not even really like playing that much now, but like I still like engaging with the hobby in a more
this Bolton Armory deck sucks. Like
remote.
I'm
way.
still gonna give my opinion on it, even though I haven't played. But that's not what Bolton needs. What the hell? 2 weeks for what?
For sure, you know. But I think, you know, it's just tough just because of the nature of the game, and what I enjoy most about it is just being with friends and playing.
Yeah.
And especially now, it's like the competitive side, I like have no stomach for it at all, really. Like, and even Armory is like almost too competitive sometimes because everyone's just like, you know, like it just feels like a lot of pressure. And then every time I almost do good, Michael comes in and ruins my day or something, you know, like.
Well, why do you feel pressure at Armory?
Because they have cool prizes, and it's literally a small tournament every time. Like,
yeah.
So it's like
it's also like maybe just a way to randomize the people you will play against.
That's true. I think, but in that case, I end up
And
playing against people I
Are
don't
the prizes really
want to
that
spend
cool?
45 minutes, playing a game with, and like, I'd rather play with people I just know and like, and I'd, rather lose to that person than some other, robot younger version of me.
I'm ready to tag in because I have a lot of all this stuff that makes sense and whatever.
Get in here.
I think there's a lot of stuff about an armory of your situation, and then you do find I'm gonna go, and then the first round is Dory, and like you're somebody I hate Dory, I hate playing against. I'm not gonna learn it. I like it's hard. I don't want to be put in that situation, and like that's something I've done. I'm gonna go to a road to nationals or whatever, and I'm playing my hard counter round one. It throws off my mood, and I'll talk about it, but like. Okay, but enjoy the 6 other rounds you have. Enjoy the 3 other rounds. Well, I'm probably going to lose this armory because I faced my hard counter in round 1. Well, now it's like, go look at everyone else or enjoy their stories that they're telling you or find the time to talk to the new players of like, how's your thing going? And I think what's interesting is like, there's been some people that have annoyed me over the last couple years, but now like, I probably will talk to them when we go to bigger things, or it has come back around of like, this is such a part of my Tuesday that they're no longer annoying. I just have gotten used to it, like, or not crave it. That's a weird thing.
We're
to say
friends
about
now,
another
so
person. But like that person, that's just how they are. Maybe like I think the interesting thing is everyone is doing stuff like you are, where the thing I like about card games is we all agree to a certain rule set. We all agree to we're all going to play from this to this cards. Usually it's like 2 years at a time for all those other things, but like there's no like how does the board game work? We just sit down and play. We don't take any time doing instructions. We're all like nobody's going to be playing Icelander. Nobody's going to be playing Dromai because it's not what we're doing. If somebody sits there with 40 cards and 20 life, you're going to go, what the hell? That's not how that works. And I like that being like, everyone is coming from their work, their daily life, their family, their dog, their other stuff, and they're trying to have an experience as well. So like we're all there's 16 different stories happening. And it honestly shouldn't matter who wins or loses. It's just kind of cool. Like, I think it does matter to me of like, I should try to win like once every 6 weeks to 2 months. Cause then I feel like I have a shot every time. Cause if I was going a year or that's crazy, but like if I was going like 5 months.
It's not crazy.
Yeah. Like if I was going like 5 months in between armory wins, I'd be like, I need to change something. But then I know like if there's 16 people at my thing, I was sitting across in the finals from Elliot once on KO and he won. He was like, this is my first army win in a year. Like since I've been playing, I was like, holy shit. Like I didn't realize that because I played in the early part of the game where everyone was getting their first win, like passing it around because there wasn't somebody who had been playing for 4 years already. That's that far ahead. This is I don't know if this is a tangent, but like it's something where I get all those stories.
I don't think that's a tangent. I think you're hitting on something that maybe boils down to like it's personal how you view armories. Like I have not cared about any of the prizing from an armory for I can't even remember the last time, and I will be caring about July because it's cold foil misblade,
right?
Left hand and right hand. So
just a Nick playmats locked behind skirmish. So you're gonna build a blitz deck.
So it's gonna be real sweaty here in July for me,
right?
But
because last night that was a casual fun game. For sure, but
shout out to me and Blake. Met in the finals of Armory, the new mirror. It was crazy. It was so funny. So much shit happened, and then I looked down at the life totals, and I'm like, It's fucking 40:35, and we've been playing
20 minutes in.
so long. I'm like, I'm so far ahead. I'm ahead 5 life points.
Like, what is going on?
And then Blake beat me, which is great. Great job, Blake.
Luck. It was luck.
Don't care. I just don't care. I don't need another cold foil scroll of ancestry or whatever. You know, those wind up being not even that much money in the secondary market.
Yeah, I'm not in it for the money.
You know?
I would play poker if I was in it for the money. I think that's a layer.
So
you're not in it for the money.
Well, so my point being is what helped me, one of the things was all I really care about is if I play like to the best of my ability for whatever that moment is, you know, like if I'm playing a hero that I know nothing about, or like I'm playing against a matchup I know nothing about. It's just like, I'm just going to play as best as I totally can and like not beat myself up over like, oh shit, right. Like that's a card that does that. I like didn't even think of that. And there's no way I would have thought of that because of where I'm at with my game knowledge and stuff. But now I know. And so the next time it'll be different. So that's like what has helped me a lot in my day-to-day flesh and blood stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think, you know, the prizing really isn't a thing. It is just wanting to win sometimes. And
that's fair.
Some people go very long time without winning an armory. I think that's my position. I don't remember the last time I won. I think it was the beginning of last year at some point. And maybe one other time, but Evan cheated and so took it from me. So I didn't even get to enjoy winning that armory because he crushed me by not knowing how fucking Death Dealer works. But you know, that's another
we're past that now.
We're past that.
Totally, we've forgotten that.
It's only
Evan's
like the one
villain.
of my 2 armory wins ever.
Jeez.
And like, you know, so it's like I've been playing 4 years. I'm not better than the guy who's just started. And that's because I don't have the mental capacity to stay sharp and play to the best of my ability every given week, because like I'm just not there. Like I'm having to put too much, you know. So it's like I think that's where it, you know, there's like so many layers of why I'm having a hard time. It's like,
I would not say it's play to the best of your like the top end ability. Like
no, but like any given day. But then it's like,
but you're a different person every single day.
No, for sure.
You know,
my best is different every day. But like even then, it's like I don't know. What has been hard and what has built a barrier for me, where it's like, you know, easier not to go sometimes than it is to go, is if I go and I'm not in the right headspace, losing is really hard.
Yeah,
you know. And losing to people that, you know, even losing to like Blake is like, it can be really hard.
Well, that's because like, Blake rubs in his wins in your face. That's
he really,
I was literally gritting during round 2 yesterday. I was like,
really does.
It's so fun. And like, we were like, the
Blake
guy
and I are very.
I just met him recently. We were like giving high fives. I was like, that was sick, man. It's like just a Nick and you're dead.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And sometimes like that vibe is like it's fun and I like it, and because I'm like I feel part of it. Other times I'm just like, it's just like, yeah, I fucking suck at this game. Like, and you know, and I think that's just my own personality, you know. So it's like learning how to navigate that on top of it. So I think it's, you know, it is something where we want to, I don't know, like figure out what I could, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. But like, I think everything I said is just a downer, but I want to like find the, you know, acceptance of it. And I think part of what brought me to talking about this was something in another podcast where it talked about, you know, when something ends or, you know, something changes, there's like grief involved in that. And like that has really helped me kind of like understand where I've been at and like feeling all these different emotions about how I'm engaging with the game and how it's changed, from like being something that literally like took up every part of my brain every single day. I was like signing off of work early to jam games. I was getting up in the morning to jam games, like doing like 6 different skirmishes over like 2 weeks online, to something where like I'm struggling to make once a week play like happen. Because like, I now go to the office every day. I can't just like, take a long lunch and play a game on, webcam or something. And so like all of that has changed, and I've, having to admit that it's changed and deal with the fact that it's changed. I've gone through like those stages of grief. I've been angry about it. I've been, denial about it. I've like bargained. Oh, well now, now I'm just this kind of player. Or I'll just collect and that's fine, and like, and all those things. And then it just, you get depressed about it. And I think, I've hearing that was like very eye-opening for me, because it was just like, shit, that's just been like my past 6 months of this, I feel like, or maybe even longer. But because it's like different state, like it's slowly changed where like, I was going back in the office like a couple times a week, and I'm just like, I'm literally every single day, and like work is stressful. And so like my energy levels are changing, and my ability to like engage in a very mentally taxing game for hours on end outside of work is like, has lessened. So it's just like it feels bad. So, that's just something that I have to accept and then find those moments. And like, I'm really excited to hear, like, I don't know why when you're talking about like Fridays, like, oh yeah, we're doing this on Fridays. Like, well, I can't do like Tuesdays and Fridays. It's like, well, why the fuck do I have to do Tuesdays? Like, why do I have to go to Armory when like the fun thing of people just hanging out playing games is happening on Friday? Like, I could just do that. And I think, there's a bit of habit in there. There's a bit of just kind of like expectation of like, oh, well, this is what you're supposed to do as part of like being a Flesh and Blood player, or player in like any trading card, I guess, trading card game. So, I think it's helpful to talk about it and, think about other ways of finding that fun, because it's, if it's not just there and like the ready to make thing, or it you are responsible for it, and you have to kind of like find it yourself, because if you don't, then it's just not fun, and then again, why are you doing it? So yeah.
And to piggyback there is like, find how you make the game fun.
Yeah.
And like, it is something where when I'm next to a couple of these brand new players, there's a brand new player in our meta who, I really like this game. It is a little bit overwhelming. I'm going to pick a new hero every month and play. Like, it doesn't really make sense. I'm a proxy some. Hopefully nobody calls the proxy police or whatever, but they played Olympia for a month. Now they're on Arachne. They played Victor for a month, and it was like, I'm trying one of every class, and it was like 04, 1-3, and like, well, that hero's not good, and I'm playing it without the Majestics maybe, but like now I know how, like, he started on Ninja with Phi, so now he knows how a Guardian plays, of the play patterns, and okay, I could see why that, and he's very excited about playing Arachne, because you get to see your opponent's cards, what the game flow is there, and that'll be knowledge that I'll ever see more so than ever. And like, if you don't like playing CC, play Blitz. If you're like, nobody plays Blitz, like, play Living Legend, of like, oh, I really want to play these old power levels. Ask your friends at the Armory, do you have those old LL cards? Can I borrow them? Let's do a fake LL night and like show me the real power of Icelander. I never got to see that. The Icelander player meta is going to go, I've been waiting for someone to say this for a year and a half.
It's still in my backpack.
And like, the Chain player is going to go, oh, you don't know what Soul Shackle 4 looks like? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All
and
misses.
Like, I think that's one thing where like, I've been around the block, and like, I have all these memories, and like, there's certain memories that I avoided. There's certain memories that I've relished. There's certain memories that I want to forget. But it does like completely go a whole thing where somebody's like, this game is really cool, right? And I go, I would never say don't play this game. That's not ever going to happen. But there's times where I've been frustrated. And if somebody said, should I buy Flesh and Blood cards? The only time where hey, it's a great time to start. There's a brand new set called Bright Lights. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, actually, maybe don't buy Bright Lights. Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, that's not a good intro set either. Heavy Hitters is a brand new set where you can do all this stuff. And like, now what's actually interesting is the intersection of I want to play a deck that I like playing. I want to play a deck that is maybe good. Finally, I think part the Mist Veil, why everyone is enjoying it. It's really cool art. Blah 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 blah.
I think Heavy Hitters fits in this zone also.
Cool. The Mist Veil part though that I'm trying to say is I spent the time on Arachne. I spent the time on Azuri. Now I have an assassin where the blue cards are good, and how the game is designed, that's just better. And if you're a ninja player, now you have a blue the ninja where the blues are good. Are you an illusionist player? Well, your shit's been good all the time, but now here's illusionist where the blues are good. And that's something where I know these play patterns. I've loved these heroes. I am getting paid off now for my Arachne time and my Azuri time. But if you're a brand new player who's like, Assassin is a very expensive class. I've seen this now on Reddit, on a couple YouTubes of like, if you're going to try Flesh and Blood and get a brand new class, Assassin's probably the most expensive one. And that's something where like, well, thank God I was around during Dynasty. I was around during Outsiders. I got some of those cards before they ballooned up. I opened up a couple codexes. I've opened up every surgical back when those were 50 because I have all the rainbow foils. And like, what is the other card that's super expensive for like the black tech? Now you don't need it. But like
Command and Conquer.
Yeah, I have all that stuff from my 3 years of opening packs. So what I'm trying to say is the intersection of fun deck that I want to play and good, because right now in this exact moment, New got the most points in Nationals last week. That's pretty cool. This is my first deck where I'm a front runner because I didn't play the Starvo. I didn't play the Prism at that one time. I didn't play the whatever. So I'm just gonna relish this. I'm going to hope New doesn't hit bans. And the New mirror was super like, this is taxing but fun. And like, it feel like literally sweating in a game store. Like, oh my God. But like, now I understand like, oh, y'all were thinking about this when you were playing Hardcore Prism. Or when you were playing Hardcore Lexi. And you're like, I'm going to walk into an armory. Over the last 5 armories, I'm like 14-2. I've won 3 armories in the last 5 that I've been to. One of them was on Levia, but whatever. And like, it's something where it's like, cool. This is like, now I'm going to walk with a little bit of confidence. And like, I'm sure I'm going to go 1-3 in the next 2 weeks. And my mind is going to go, what did I do wrong or whatever? But like the moment I feel right now should overshadow those. And if someone needs a moment like I'm having right now, and they're like, screw Blake for winning, I can't go like I think some people are obnoxious when they do this, Evan. But like when you go 3-1, Evan, and you're like, oh, I could have won that one game and gone 4-0. It's like it's time for other people to have their 4-0 moment and don't step on those moments. And like it's a joke, like, oh, I beat Evan by 22 on Zen on the big deck in format or best deck in format, loser. And like it was just like like that's funny. But whenever I get losered back, I can't go, dang, it really sucks. Like everything I do this community, and you want to say loser to my, it's like it's rolling with the punches. It's punching when it's your time to punch. I think all of that is like, I'm literally teaching you how to be socially like in a group, but it's like razz people.
It's called sportsmanship.
It's not bullying. It's sportsmanship. It's like razz people when they need to be razz. If someone's annoying you, go ahead and say, I've had some people go to me like, why are you grittying on me in the middle of our game? And it's like, okay, that's a little over the top. But like, it was really cool, right? And they're like, for sure.
You're so good at it, though.
Yeah. But I'm excited for where we're at right now, because I can tell brand new players. Do you have, like, there's a brand new player. Literally first week was last week where I was like, what? Showed up with Boost Teklo. I was like, this isn't the easy version of this deck, but it's the cheaper version.
Oh, we have a local also who's just like, oh yeah, Enigma that's who I want to play. I'm like, bro, you've picked the hero that you're gonna have to like learn all of these windows and where you can play cards and stuff,
Right.
because they matter, because that's how your hero plays. And I was trying to tell them that, and they're like, yeah, but it's cool. I just need like a diagram to show me, I was like, cool, dude, you're psyched. That's awesome. Good for you. Keep that up.
Because you learned it with Kano or Prism. Like, that's one thing that I have heard recently of, like, we all learned on the hard-ass Monarch heroes. Of, like, my first brute was Levia. I went backwards to Greiner. It's a little easier, but, like, graveyard shit was hard. Like, I was playing Chain and Blitz, not realizing you should Soul Shackle 4. I was just always dumping as much damage and barely losing, because it's like, no, do one turn of 25. If somebody had said that, I would have gone, oh.
Yeah, rune chants don't break when you attack Spectra with your weapon, but do if it's an attack. You had to remember all that shit.
And like,
which is not a thing now. That's not a real rule anymore.
And that's where we cut our teeth.
That.
So like, I don't think we should tell new players like you have to start with like the most
easy
basic stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Like some of these people are rocket scientists, and you're like,
yeah,
like, oh shit, you're playing 5, but you're a rocket scientist. You really want a break when you get off of work, I guess.
Well,
See, I don't think
switched
at all
to
it works.
Dromai.
I need to have a 500 decision hero.
No, I mean, I agree that like it shouldn't be like, oh, new players should start on something easier, because that new players should start with what they think is fun, and then either they learn what is fun for them, or they learn how to play that hero, and they were right to begin with. I think that part's always going to be a part of it. And I think it's funny to me though that like I'm 4 years in now, and I'm still what is fun and what I enjoy playing and what I think I enjoy playing are still things that are not like nailed down to me, because I think it changes. It changes,
which I think is cool though.
Yeah,
like I really wish.
I wish I was just like, no, I play this deck, and I only play this deck, and that's it.
Oh, dude, I wish I was the other way. Like, well, I'm not really sure what I do. Like, I'll try this stuff. That sounds fun. You know what I mean?
But then it's like I wouldn't have to think about it anymore. It's just I just play this deck. I'm like, I like this. This is fun. I just get better at it, and I change it. Like,
what if it's the opposite? Where this is how I feel sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try something new. That's not the thing I like, though.
That really sucks.
Like, I just don't like new stuff. It's like that. Oh, I don't want to go to that other restaurant. That's too scary.
I have to get the.
I don't want to walk under the rock. There's nobody over there.
Well, I don't know. It just was weird, dude. It's a large, bleak expanse that's all white, and the rock's white, and nobody was over there. So maybe I'm not supposed to go over there. I don't know. They were doing construction and stuff too. It was kind of stressful. Like they had a guy out there with like a sign that was like, "Can't walk." Like, okay,
can't walk. I think now is a good time to say the thought process we said, because now we're an assassin podcast for at least a little bit. Woo! Maybe you could.
I would say we all were, but then we played that mirror, and I hated it.
Great, because
you got to play the cool new assassin in the lowest powered, most grindy. It's like the least fun, but the most fun. But you have to have been like, okay, I've been doing this thing for long enough for it to then be fun.
What's up, Eric? He's back.
Yeah, no, I'm mostly joking. It was fun, except when
Blake banished all your Justinix.
Yeah, immediately, all in one go on like turn 2, and I was like, I didn't know what this card did, and now I do.
It's real.
Bonds of Agony. Fuck that card.
Bonds of Agony.
It's a good card.
I think now is a perfect time to say why that deck is cool, because I think it's a third, fourth archetype that hasn't existed in Flesh and Blood. We were kind of talking about this
about that. Yeah.
because there's aggro, where it's ninjas, it's KO, it's
Azalea.
all your Azalea is actually an aggro deck. There's control, all the Guardian, flip it, whatever. Maybe you could say Arachne is a control deck in a certain kind of way. Eric, you can move. We can edit around this too. Oh, okay. I was making sure you weren't like not moving because we're talking or not. But this is new is an interesting deck because I don't think it's control. I would disagree with it. I know that there's Flesh and Blood is a fighting game, and like, but what other archetypes are there? There's zoners, there's whatever. But like, if you played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because Flesh and Blood is a fighting game, MODOK gets more information from you as you go through stuff, and then has access to Disruptor Bomb. If Disruptor Bomb hits you, your controls go backwards for 2 or 3 seconds, and then you're blocking backwards. And I would say new is welcome to your third archetype, or fourth. Maybe you could argue Kano is a third archetype. Prism could be the fourth archetype. Illusionist is an archetype all themselves. Yes, for sure. So this is the fifth archetype. Assassin new is the disruptor deck of I am going to take a bunch of damage instead of blocking. The idea of blocking is kind of control. I'll grind you down. I'll mill you. Control, mill is together. But this is a disruptor deck. I'm going to take 8 to 12 damage from you. But because I have my full hand and my full equipment and my full hero power and a chi card, I'm going to be able to completely blow up your hand. And now I have disrupted you so bad. What are you going to do? You're going to swing a Titan's Fist for 4? Don't care. And now I draw 4 cards, but I have all of this again. And now I'm going to disrupt your hand beyond belief. And what are you going to do? Titan's Fist. I don't care. I'm taking 4, but I'm milling the top card of your deck whenever I hit you. I'm banishing cards from your hand. I'm making you block extra because you don't want to take 7 from an Enlightened Strike, do you? And now your graveyard is piling up. Your Banish Zone is piling up. And you're running out of threats. And I don't care about my life total. It's so refreshing there's so many heroes that I play. I have to pay attention to my life total with Levia. It's 13. I'm now dead because I got to oops. And like there's a game of going from 17 to 13. You blew it because just a nick, or not just a nick, flick knives gets you to 13. And you're like, fuck, I was going to transform and now I can't. But like that doesn't happen. I don't care about news health total. I care about how many cards are in your deck, how many threats are left. And Bonds of Agony is the first card where I can make you shuffle. Just kidding. There's also Mind Warp, which I do think buy your Mind Warps now because August is coming, September is coming. But now I can mess with your pitch stack. I did that to you or no? That was a practice round.
You did not do that.
I did not. Bonds
you can't make me shuffle my deck.
Bonds of Agony.
Unless you hit me with Bonds of Agony.
I did it to my second round opponent, and I shuffled his deck, and I think it's something where that's
Bonds of Agony hit. You kidding me?
Okay, well, other things hit, bro. It's just this is a disruptor deck, and it's really cool. So if you are in a doldrum or low period, and you have all your assassin stuff, and you've played Arachne for a bit, and you're somehow listening to this podcast or it got linked to you, I think new is the welcome to the show, and it's super fun, and it's catching on with if you do have years of knowledge, you can put it into this hero and be paid off.
So there you go. I'll just play new.
Yeah, you totally can.
It's way more fun when you're not playing another new.
I can see that for sure. It definitely was fun. I'm excited about these heroes. It feels like I'm on my way back up to a peak, you know.
Yeah.
I've made it through the bottom of the valley. You know, it's been a rough time, you know, but we're figuring out how we're going to do it. We're going to make Fridays happen, maybe Tuesdays sometimes too. And we'll just play some cards and have a good time. You know, that's all I really want to do. And I don't care as much about all the rest of it. I don't care who wins nationals. I don't care who wins worlds unless, you know, Tao Tao takes it down and then, you know, fucking free Tao Tao He's unleashed. He is the best, and
FTT right
you
there.
ever try to ban him again, if they try to ban Tao Tao again, I might reconsider whether I play this game or not.
Well, Tao Tao can't cheat again. So
Called cheaters. I've seen people cheat, and nothing happens.
Wait, yeah, nothing
Never
ever
mind.
happened with.
I've seen people cheat.
Anyways,
Using cheat.
I think
That's a skill. Do
I
not forget
hope-
to de-cheat.
that is true. Yeah, you will de-cheat. No de-cheat. If you don't de-cheat, you get the de-quee.
Yeah. Shout outs to the non-cheers who don't de-cheating
Look,
any cheat.
I hope this wasn't too much of a bummer episode. I feel like I got deep in my feels, but
You were surprisingly chipper.
am I? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I also,
That's because you guys are nice and I like you.
I think
Hey, I like
that's.
you too.
I think
I thought maybe we were going to cry today.
that last sentence you just said
We still can't.
is something where
Blake, it's okay if you cry.
I think we need to start believing in the humanity of our community and being like, most of these people enjoy me. And I get into some like, I'm anxious, or I was in a room this weekend where it feels less fun than it has been in the past. And then talking to some friends, they're like, what's going on? Talk to them. They're like, oh, I noticed you were down, but don't be down. There was some times where I felt, oh, this person's in my house and like, sorry about the boxes of flesh, and like we put our shoes over here and like, but like instead of being like, what I'm trying to say
Sorry,
is
I've been
like,
wearing my shoes in your house.
No. It's more of like, I have anxiety about some certain things, and I'm not realizing that like, just play cards, just be part of the community, just have fun. If you're having fun, 97% of the time, other people will be having fun too. The 3% where you're like, stop gritting while you're beating me, or stop saying that in front of, like, don't say this word in front of this person because that's a derogatory, whatever. That's a crazy thing, but
Well,
just have fun and trust in your friends that they'll be friendly to you.
one of the things, well, for me, I always have to relate it to my sports career.
Right.
And for
You
me,
play sports.
What?
You play sports.
I do, yeah. One of the things I used to do every week was see you later. See you later, Blake. One of the things that I would do every week. One of the things I would do every week was on Sundays we would play open gym, and I loved it. And it was part of my like habit. Did it all the time, and I think I probably had done it so much and played so much that I like forgot about like some days there's low moments. You know what I mean? And a lot of days are average, but then there are like high moments. And in that realm, I'm used to that. But then in card games, it's way harder to handle because it's it is a different environment or whatever. You know what I mean? So what am I trying to say? I have that skill, and I had to figure out how to apply that to card games also. You know what I mean? And I also understand not everybody has that experience to go off of and that sort of thing. And so this is like maybe the first time some people are learning about that, but I don't know. It kind of comes down to the people. Like, I'm just happy to be around them every week and see them. And I don't know. It's just good to be a part of a community.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
That's what feels good.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing I miss. I think that, it also makes it hard too, because you're like, it's been so long that now I feel weird going to something that I
Yeah.
just would show up to all the time, and
Yeah.
like, you know, like I don't want to call a lot of attention to the fact that I haven't been there, but you know, I'm sure a lot of things like haven't changed at all, and there'll be some things that have totally changed, but um, yeah, no, I mean that's the community is why I continue to be here, because I mean you guys are my community, and I don't want to not spend the third most amount of time of my life with you.
I don't want to set up lights for an hour for anyone else. You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't sit here.
An hour?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just trying to make it seem like we're hard workers behind the scene.
It's gonna cost us at least 2 pizzas.
Bro,
Get your
I've
other
got
roommate.
it ready to order as soon as.
How many roommates do you have?
Just 2.
Oh, okay.
100.
I thought I didn't recognize one of them.
All the ants.
Anyways, so hopefully, if you have gone through a low period, you're in a low period, you know, hopefully this helped. There's a lot of ways through it. I think the main thing is just figure out, you know, how to have the fun. And if you need to be in charge of that, then you got to be in charge of it. You know, like you can't rely on other people to have your fun for you, I guess, which is a stupid thing to say, but you got to. I mean, I've said this in other ways where it's like, I'm not responsible for someone else's fun. I am responsible for me having fun.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
can't, you know,
Play the ALS loop.
yeah.
You can't be like somebody did say, I don't like playing new because it feels like I'm ruining other people's stuff. And they were talking about a Zen in particular. And I was like,
the fun part.
I was like, Mario Kart has bananas and has red shells, and it needs the blue shell if they're that far ahead, because if not, it's just the best racer wins every time. And that's Olympics and NASCAR, not Mario Kart. And we're playing a game that needs to be fun for everyone.
Yeah.
There's
The only problem with that is that Flesh and Blood takes like 45 minutes to play sometimes. So, and there is no
I need some blue shells.
There's no blue shell. So it can be very just demoralizing after a certain amount of time. We're like, this game is so over, but we have to just keep playing because it feels worse to like just scoop, even though like it, you know, because then you, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been upset at anybody who scooped where I'm like, I'm beating the pants off of you.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it's over.
Yeah.
You
I think
know?
I need to do that. I think I need to scoop more.
Yeah.
Because I've rage quitted like, oh, I'm playing Icelander brand new 6 weeks in. I'm playing a Prism, and I was like, I'm not gonna play you. And they were like, oh, but I'm gonna miss out on a game of my forward tonight. And I understand that, like, oh, I was planning on having 4 experiences, and it's like, you're just going to beat me by 40, and you don't even have 40 life.
Totally. It's
Like-
there's some fucking schools that want to play my basketball team and they're like so superior. And I'm like, why do we want to play this game?
Yeah.
Nobody gets anything out of this. You get a win and you get to play like
There's no blue shells.
all of your bad players.
Yeah.
And I get to play all of my bad players and still lose and lose by 40. And like, it's a waste of our time. We could do something else with this hour.
You could play Ultimate Pit Fight. You could play pack battles.
Yeah.
You could play Bring Your Living Legend deck. It's, like, that's one thing that I legit
Yeah. We were talking about that.
advocate for
I
people.
thought it was a good idea. That was a good idea.
Do you have a matchup that you fucking hate right now in the meta? I auto lose it. Bring a backup Living Legend deck and say, guess what? You got the win. I don't care about the promo, but let's have some fun. I'm going to play Stubby Fi. Let's see what it would have did against your control deck. Can New take down Stubby Fi? Could I play Oldham? And can I play Dromai? I have my whole Dromai deck. Everyone just sold their dragons. Why did you do that? It's still a Living Legend. Or like, yes, there's Living Legend rules. I can only play one Warmonger, blah, blah, blah. But like the Icelander player, yes, if you're a Bolton, you're like, I don't want to play against Icelander, even if you did this. Like, you just flipped the 100-0 matchup to me. But like at your discretion, because you're someone who's bringing a Living Legend deck, ask your opponent, like, let's have a different experience. You got the win already. This is how we can grow our community. Let me show you this. Maybe you're a brand new player. You weren't around when Briar was good. I want to play this Briar deck because I'm getting ready for Florian. Here's some combos that I could teach you that will come back around for Florian. Look at me just making shit up and like I'm an idea guy, you know? Like
you are an idea
like,
guy.
just
But you
for-
set up the lights too, so you're a physical worker guy too.
Yeah, I did click. Oh, I watched somebody.
I was trying to give it to you. No, I think that's a great idea, and I think that's a great way of handling it. And you should just having a backup deck for like the matchups that are gonna tilt you and make your evening go from I had a fun time to like, you know, questioning your life choices. Like to be like, oh well, fuck it, like you take it. Let me try this other deck.
This is the ultimate sideboard.
Yeah, the ultimate sideboard is you win, and I'll just play a different deck and have a better time.
I just beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've also seen some people do like, oh, my first game was so bad that I'm just gonna switch heroes and play this for the next 3 games. Like, I'm not saying like counterpick your opponent every time you sit down, but like if you are like,
no,
never mind, that was a bad deck. I'll switch back to KO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that, and I think there's probably other.
Like LSS is not gonna send somebody and arrest you. You're getting banned because you switched midway through an armory.
They might.
Okay. Don't do that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what else
I feel like
I have to say. I guess it's just.
It's
a hard period. I went through it, and it sucked. But I'm glad I went through it and I had that experience because it, I think, has made me I have a healthier relationship with the game because of it.
I played New Mirror last night for the first like 3 times. I think I found a hero that I like so much. I love New. Like it is
New cosplay
everything
win.
I want to do. I could cosplay as New, shave my whatever off to do New.
No, you don't have to.
Okay, I'll be beard New. It's something where that mirror sucks, but last night I almost was like, do you want to play it again when we got home? And tonight I'm like, oh, could we play a New Mirror after this? And I haven't had that experience.
Yeah, I would have played with you if you wanted
let me
to.
play another this is the schlock. This is Embrace the Suck from whatever branch of the military that is that we borrow that from. But like, it's like that. I want more information, and like this is the hero I want to get good at. 26 matchups against the field. And then I may just turn my back and play a wizard in 6 weeks, which would be weird. But like now, like chi stuff. This is a tangent again, but like all of it is so cool, and you're having fun, and you're doing shit I've never done before. And like I took my levels of enlightenment and my surgical extractions out. Oh, you only took you kept your surgicals in, and like. I use your surgicals against you. Now you're screwed. And like
He just wants to talk about how he beat me in.
No. But like
for the 4th time this
no.
podcast.
But and then in my deck, there's 8 cards left, and 6 of them are chi cards, and you're like, oh shit. I barely beat this person. Like I thought it was gonna be like, look how much block I had left, and it's all chi. You're like, oh shit. Dude.
He was one shuffle away from being on this side of the couch, on this couch, being sad on this episode.
So you should sell your cards. And like, I think what's funny about my pendulum is 2 weeks from now, I will probably have a like.
Oh, absolutely.
This I finally played against Illusionist. I haven't played against Illusionist once in like 2 months. And I beat a bunch of Enigmas with Levia, and I think I got a bunch of people off that deck early. And now I was like, anytime there's an Enigma meta, I'm going to switch to Levia. Just beat them over and over again. Like, oh, I can't play in this meta, and then switch to New whenever.
Yeah, my whole backpack is my inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So when I bring Enigma, he's just going to play Levia and ruin my night. And then I'll say, never mind, we won't play this. I have New. You pick Levia. You can't also switch.
Yeah, so just counterpick each other. Fuck, it's the New Mirror.
No,
All
I'd
right.
love to play Colin at an armory because it means he'd be at the armory.
Oh,
You gotta come, bro. On Tuesdays.
Well, I'm coming tomorrow. We're gonna go all together.
tight.
I've already got permission. So
Pitch It To Me podcast.
Whoa! Shout out to them.
Yeah,
1 year
happy
anniversary.
1 year anniversary.
Yeah,
All right. I think that was cathartic. I feel better.
you do.
I think there's so much cool stuff, and I think that's also been the hard part. Is like I feel like I missed some of the cool stuff, but I'm excited about the cool stuff. I'm excited about the next set. You know, I cannot buy cases.
I'm down to do pick your single. I will play both wizards and neither Runeblade. I'll buy every wizard card.
There's
that is
2
expensive.
wizards. Oh, I'm so excited. There's 2.
And we could wizard pool together. I already bought the wizard cards. I'm $50 in already.
All right.
I'm
So,
excited.
Yeah, hopefully that's helpful to other people listening. Hopefully that was interesting. If you made it this long, thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. We appreciate all of our listeners. I appreciate you too. I'm getting choked up. Who cares about nationals metas?
I appreciate anybody that beats Evan in a tier 2 or 3 tournament. He will be going to Amsterdam. If you beat him, I will send you $20.
Whoa!
Evan's record, I'll be down $400.
Get him.
Wow, got him.
Got him.
This is the Assassin Action Podcast,
Yep.
aka the Blake bashing Evan podcast.
That's when
It's all love.
Zane's away, the mice will play, you know? Are you in the La Brea tar pits of flesh and blood? Here's
Dude,
a way
that-
to get out.
Are you sinking into a black abyss of nothingness that smells terrible and there's a dire wolf that's also eating you?
Take a shower with this
Maybe just-
podcast.
Maybe just have fun and you'll get out of it.
Things don't need to be dire, Wolf. You can be bigger than they used to be. $18.
This podcast is extinct. See you later.
I would say it's Mastodon.